1970s Superheroines, too gorgeous and too tough to forget before CGI and streaming, families gathered in blue-lit living rooms to witness something revolutionary. They arrived in satin capes and feathered hair. Women who redefined strength in America. Wonder Woman spinning, Charlie's Angels solving impossible cases, ordinary women becoming extraordinary heroes. These 25 television pioneers didn't just capture our imagination, they showed us what was possible. Decades later, they remain unforgettable. The faces that made us believe in heroes. Lynda Carter, Wonder Woman. She arrived on our screens in a flash of stars and stripes. Lynda Carter. When she spun in that circle, we held our breath. When she stopped, Wonder Woman stood before us. Powerful, kind, and yes, breathtaking. Those piercing blue eyes didn't just see villains. They saw into our hearts. That smile wasn't just beautiful. It was a promise that good would triumph. When she deflected bullets with those bracelets, we believed anything was possible. In living rooms across America, little girls stood with hands on hips, and boys watched in awe. She wasn't just playing a superhero. She became one. In an era when most female characters needed saving, Wonder Woman did the saving. Even today, when we hear that theme song, we're transported back to a time when an Amazon princess taught us what strength really looked like. Lindsay Wagner, the Bionic Woman. She could run 60 miles per hour. Yet it was her heart that truly set her apart. Lindsay Wagner brought Jaime Summers to life with more than just bionic strength. She brought vulnerability, intelligence, and grace. That slow-motion run became the stuff of playground legend, but it was her quiet moments that truly captivated us. Wagner didn't just throw cars and leap tall fences. She showed us that being rebuilt didn't mean losing your humanity. Those expressive eyes conveyed more emotion than special effects ever could. When the electronic sound of her bionic power hummed through our TV speakers, we knew something amazing was about to happen. She wasn't just action-packed entertainment, she was revolutionary. A female lead who was stronger than the men around her, yet never lost her compassion. America didn't just watch the Bionic Woman. America fell in love with her. Yvonne Craig, Batgirl. She burst onto our screens in a flash of purple and yellow, and nothing was ever the same. Yvonne Craig didn't just ride a motorcycle into the Batcave. She rode straight into television history.
And the next minute, something new has been added. Batgirl. Modeled after her idol, Batman. Ready for this.
By day, she was librarian Barbara Gordon. By night, she was the crime-fighting phenomenon who could go toe-to-toe with Gotham's worst. That flowing red hair peeking out from her cowl became an instant signature. Those high kicks weren't just fighting moves. They were breaking down barriers for women on television. Craig brought something Batman and Robin never could. A knowing smile that said women could save the day too. She wasn't just a sidekick, she was a revelation. When she appeared, even Batman seemed to stand a little straighter. In a time when female characters were often just decoration, Batgirl was essential. She kicked down doors so future superheroines could walk through them, and generations of girls whispered the same thing while watching Farrah Fawcett, Charlie's Angels, Jill Monroe. That hair, those teeth, that poster. Farrah Fawcett didn't just star in Charlie's Angels. She became a cultural earthquake. When she smiled, it wasn't just bright. It lit up entire rooms, entire decades. That legendary feathered hairdo launched 1,000 salon appointments, with women across America bringing her picture and saying simply, "Make me look like Farrah." As Jill Monroe, she wasn't just beautiful. She was athletic, clever, and fearless. The way she moved seemed to mesmerize the camera itself. She solved crimes in a way that made detective work look like the most glamorous profession on earth. Audiences didn't just watch her. They wanted to be her, to know her, to understand the magic that made her shine so brightly. When she left the show after just one season, America gasped. But in that brief time, she'd already become more than a star. She was a phenomenon. In one role, in one unforgettable year, Fawcett didn't just play an angel. She became immortal. Joanna Cameron, Isis. She spoke the words, and the magic happened.
Mighty Isis.
Oh, mighty Isis. Joanna Cameron transformed from unassuming science teacher Andrea Thomas into something television had never seen before. The first female superhero with her own live-action series. With arms raised to the Egyptian sky, wind blowing through her hair, she wasn't just calling on ancient powers. She was making history. Those dark, knowing eyes held the wisdom of centuries. That flowing white gown seemed to capture the light itself. Cameron brought a regal quality to Saturday mornings that elevated children's television to something mythic. She could command the elements, stop time, and fly through the air. Yet her most remarkable power was how she made young viewers believe in their own potential. She wasn't just fighting crime. She was teaching lessons about courage, wisdom, and standing up for what's right. While Wonder Woman might have received more attention, Isis blazed the trail. In her quiet majesty, Joanna Cameron didn't just play a goddess. For a generation of wide-eyed children, she was one. Deborah Winger, Wonder Girl, Drusilla. Before she became an Oscar-nominated film star, Deborah Winger burst onto our screens as the spirited younger sister we didn't know Wonder Woman had. As Drusilla, the teenaged Wonder Girl, she brought a youthful exuberance that perfectly complemented Lynda Carter's more regal presence. Those expressive eyes and that distinctive husky voice, already unmistakable even then, gave us a different kind of Amazon princess. She wasn't just following in her sister's footsteps. She was creating her own path. Winger brought an innocence and curiosity to Paradise Island, seeing the modern world through fresh eyes that made us see it anew ourselves. When she donned those star-spangled shorts and golden headband, she wasn't just a sidekick. She was a reminder that heroism comes at any age. Though her time on the show was brief, Winger left an indelible mark. That impish smile and fearless spirit showed us that even a teenager from a mythical island could hold her own against the forces of evil. Before Hollywood discovered her, television audiences already knew. This girl was going to be a star. Jaclyn Smith, Charlie's Angels, Kelly Garrett. While others came and went, she remained the heart and soul of Charlie's Angels. Jaclyn Smith's Kelly Garrett wasn't just beautiful. She was the steady center around which the Angels' world revolved. That quiet elegance and those gentle eyes brought a depth to crime fighting that transcended the show's glamorous surface. When she smiled, it wasn't just stunning, it was sincere. Smith brought an intelligence to Kelly that made us believe this former street cop could outsmart the criminals as easily as she could outrun them. She wasn't just eye candy, she was essential. The only angel to stay through all 5 seasons, Smith became the show's beating heart, its emotional anchor. When disguised as a model, a nurse, or a socialite, she didn't just look the part. She embodied it completely. While the media focused on Farrah's hair and the show's so-called jiggle factor, Smith quietly built a character of substance and grace. Audiences didn't just admire her, they trusted her. Long after the last case was solved, Kelly Garrett remained the angel we'd most want watching over us. Kate Jackson, Charlie's Angels, Sabrina Duncan. They called her the smart one. But Kate Jackson's Sabrina Duncan was so much more. With that knowing smile and no-nonsense attitude, she brought a cerebral edge to Charlie's Angels that balanced the show's obvious visual appeal. Those intelligent eyes didn't just look at clues. They saw through them. That distinctive voice, slightly husky and always confident, commanded attention whether she was briefing her fellow angels or confronting a villain. Jackson didn't just play smart. She was smart, fighting behind the scenes for better scripts and more substantial storylines. As the de facto leader of the Angels, she wasn't just solving cases, she was proving that women could lead investigations with authority and skill. When the trio went undercover, Sabrina was often the strategist, the one with the plan. She wasn't just beautiful, he was essential. Though she left after 3 seasons, Jackson had already cemented her legacy. In an era when television regularly underestimated women's intelligence, Sabrina Duncan never dumbed herself down, and America was smarter for it. Deidre Hall, Electra Woman. With a flash of light and a wave of her hand, Deidre Hall transformed into television's most electrically charged heroine. As Electra Woman, complete with that unforgettable red jumpsuit and lightning bolt emblem, she didn't just fight crime. She illuminated Saturday mornings. Those sparkling eyes seemed to hold actual voltage. That Electrocom wristwatch wasn't just a prop.
She was a superhero. She was a blonde, spandexed superhero. And she did it with, like everything else in her life, enormous commitment.
It was every child's technological fantasy. Hall brought a sophisticated presence to children's television, never talking down to her young audience even as she zapped villains with electric bolts. Alongside her faithful sidekick Dinah Girl, she wasn't just solving mysteries. She was showing girls they could be the technological genius, the leader, the hero. Her day job as a magazine reporter echoed Superman's cover story, but Electra Woman was no derivative character. She crackled with her own unique energy. Though the show lasted just one season, Hall's performance left a lasting charge. Before she became a soap opera legend on Days of Our Lives, she was already unforgettable. In her capable hands, Electra Woman wasn't just a superhero, she was pure electricity on screen. Joanna Lumley, the New Avengers, per day. Long before she became absolutely fabulous, Joanna Lumley kicked her way into our hearts as the high-fashion, high-kicking Purdy. With that revolutionary bowl haircut, which launched 1,000 salon appointments across Britain and America, and those impossibly long legs, she wasn't just a secret agent, she was a sensation. Those knowing eyes could switch from playful to deadly in an instant. That distinctive British accent delivered lines with precision that could cut as sharply as her martial arts moves. Lumley brought a balletic grace to fight scenes that made violence look like dangerous art. As part of the three-person team with Steed and Gambit, she wasn't just keeping up with the men, she was often 2 steps ahead. Her fashion sense became as legendary as her fighting style, with the Purdy Bob becoming one of the most copied hairstyles of the decade. When she aimed her gun or delivered a perfect roundhouse kick, she wasn't just defending Britain, she was redefining what a female action hero could be. Cool, cultured, and impossibly elegant. Lumley's Purdy wasn't just British, she was the embodiment of spy cool. Barbara Bain, Space, 1999, Dr. Helena Russell. Among the stars, she walked, cool and collected, the calm center in cosmic chaos. Barbara Bain's Dr. Helena Russell brought intellectual elegance to Moonbase Alpha.
John, violence is not the answer.
I can't accept their judgment.
Through unknown space. Those striking, sculptural cheekbones and penetrating eyes didn't just observe the strange new worlds the wandering moon encountered. They analyzed them with scientific precision. That measured, thoughtful voice cut through panic with the reassurance of rational thought. Bain brought a grounded humanity to science fiction that anchored the show's wild concepts in emotional reality. As the Moonbase's chief medical officer, she wasn't just healing bodies, she was often the conscience of the entire base. Her on-screen chemistry with real-life husband Martin Landau created a mature love story amid the fantastical setting. When faced with alien threats or mysterious illnesses, she wasn't just frightened, she was focused. In an era when science fiction often relegated women to supporting roles, Dr. Russell was essential to survival. With quiet authority and unflappable grace, Bain created a future woman who wasn't defined by her gender but by her brilliance. Stephanie Powers, the girl from UNCELI, April Dancer. She spun into the spy game with style and sophistication that made espionage look glamorous. Stephanie Powers' April Dancer wasn't just the female counterpart to Napoleon Solo, she was a groundbreaking television first.
Par hasard, vous louez une pelle?
Désolé, c'est la plus grande que j'ai pu trouver.
The leading lady of her own spy series. Those sparkling eyes didn't just watch for danger, they twinkled with intelligence and wit. That melodious voice could charm secrets from the most tight-lipped enemy agent. Powers brought both playfulness and professionalism to a role that could have been mere gimmickry. As Agent April Dancer, she wasn't just infiltrating enemy organizations, she was infiltrating a male-dominated genre. Those fashionable disguises weren't just costume changes, they were tactical advantages. When she pulled out clever gadgets or outsmarted villains, she wasn't just advancing the plot, she was advancing television's portrayal of women. Though the series lasted just one season, April Dancer picked the lock for future female spies. With elegance and enthusiasm, Powers didn't just play a spy, she proved that in the world of espionage, the girl from UNCLE was every bit as capable as the men. Angie Dickinson, policewoman, Sergeant Pepper Anderson. With a badge on her belt and a gun in her purse, Angie Dickinson didn't just play a police officer, she revolutionized television. As Sergeant Pepper Anderson, she walked into the male-dominated world of crime dramas and made it her own.
Officer.
Those legs might have gotten the initial attention, but it was those keen eyes, simultaneously tough and vulnerable, that kept America watching. That slightly husky voice could soothe a victim or intimidate a suspect with equal conviction. Dickinson brought both glamour and grit to a role that never shied away from the realities of being a woman in law enforcement. Undercover assignments in prisons, mental institutions, and modeling agencies weren't just plot devices. They were showcases for her remarkable range. When she stood toe-to-toe with criminals, she wasn't just solving cases, she was breaking ground. The first female lead in a successful police drama, Pepper Anderson kicked down doors so future female detectives could walk through them. While some critics focused on her beauty, viewers recognized her strength. With steely determination and undeniable charisma, Dickinson didn't just star in Policewoman, she defined what a policewoman could be. Carol Ann Seflinger, Wonderbug, Debbie. Saturday mornings had their share of superheroes, but Carol Ann Seflinger gave us something different. A normal teenager whose car happened to be extraordinary. As Debbie in Sid and Marty Krofft's Wonderbug, she brought wholesome enthusiasm to the wacky adventures of three teens and their magical dune buggy. That genuine smile and sun-kissed California girl look weren't just pretty, they were relatable. Those expressive eyes widened with the same wonder we felt at home, watching Schleppcar transform into the gleaming Wonderbug. Seflinger brought an authentic teen energy to the role, making the fantastical premise feel somehow possible. As part of the trio alongside Barry and CC, she wasn't just along for the ride, she was essential to the team. When Wonderbug soared into the air or helped catch criminals, she wasn't just a passenger, she was part of the magic. Though the show lasted just 17 episodes, for a generation of children, Saturday mornings meant adventures with Debbie and Wonderbug. With natural charm and boundless energy, Seflinger didn't just play a character. She became part of the cherished ritual of childhood television. Belinda Montgomery, Man from Atlantis. Dr. Elizabeth Merrill. The ocean held its secrets until she helped unlock them. Belinda Montgomery's Dr. Elizabeth Merrill wasn't just a scientist, she was the human bridge between our world and the mysterious Mark Harris, the Man from Atlantis. Those compassionate eyes didn't just observe her amphibious friend, they saw his humanity when others saw only his differences. That gentle voice explained complex scientific concepts with a clarity that made children feel smarter for listening. Montgomery brought intellectual authority to a role that could have been merely supportive, making Dr. Merrill the emotional anchor of the series. As the foundation for oceanic research scientist who discovered Mark Harris, she wasn't just his colleague, she was his guide to the surface world. When underwater dangers threatened, she wasn't just worried, she was part of the solution. Her chemistry with Patrick Duffy created a relationship that was neither romantic nor simply professional, but something uniquely tender. In the sometimes campy world of sci-fi television, Montgomery gave us something authentic. With quiet intelligence and steadfast loyalty, she didn't just study the Man from Atlantis, she helped us understand him. Heather Menzies, Logan's Run, Jessica 6. In a world where no one lived past 30, she dared to run toward tomorrow. Heather Menzies brought vulnerability and determination to Jessica 6, the young woman who fled the domed city alongside Logan in search of a future that might not exist. Those expressive eyes didn't just show fear, they revealed an awakening curiosity about the forbidden outside world. That delicate beauty wasn't just striking, it represented the fragility of life in a society where renewal was just a euphemism for death. Menzies brought emotional depth to a character, discovering that everything she'd been taught was a lie. As a fugitive from the only home she'd ever known, she wasn't just running, she was evolving. That glowing life clock crystal in her palm wasn't just a prop. It was the ticking countdown that drove the entire series. When facing the unknown dangers of the outside world, she wasn't just scared, she was brave enough to keep going. Years after playing Louisa Von Trapp in The Sound of Music, Menzies found another kind of freedom on screen. With quiet courage and growing strength, she didn't just play Jessica 6. She gave us a heroine who chose uncertain life over comfortable death. Katie Saylor, The Fantastic Journey, Liana. She walked between worlds with grace and mystery. Katie Saylor's Liana wasn't just beautiful, she was otherworldly. As the telepathic woman from the mysterious advanced civilization of Atlantium, she brought an ethereal quality to television adventure that captivated viewers from the first episode. Those luminous eyes didn't just see, they seemed to look straight into souls. That flowing blonde hair and those elegant features weren't just striking, they hinted at her character's evolved humanity. Saylor brought dignity and compassion to a role that could have been merely exotic window dressing. As the only woman among the time-traveling travelers, she wasn't just keeping up, she was often their moral compass. Her telepathic abilities weren't just convenient plot devices, They represented a higher form of human connection. When danger threatened her companions, she wasn't just afraid, she faced it with calm resolve. Though the fantastic journey lasted just 10 episodes, Sailor created a character that lingered in viewers' imaginations. With serene presence and gentle wisdom, she didn't just play Liana. She embodied the show's tantalizing promise of humanity's evolved potential. Melinda Fee, the Invisible Man, Dr. Kate Weston. Some heroines stood in the spotlight. Others, like Melinda Fee, made brilliance visible through others. As Dr. Kate Weston in The Invisible Man, she wasn't just the wife of the transparent protagonist. She was the scientific mind that kept him from fading away completely. Those intelligent eyes didn't just worry about her husband's condition. They calculated solutions. That warm, reassuring smile wasn't just supportive. It humanized the high-concept sci-fi premise. Fee brought emotional groundedness and intellectual authority to a role that could have been simply reactive. As the scientist working to reverse the invisibility condition, she wasn't just in the lab, she was often in the field, facing danger alongside her see-through spouse. That professional partnership with David McCallum created a modern marriage of equals rarely seen on television. When scientific jargon filled the script, she didn't just recite it, she made us believe she understood every molecule. Though the series vanished after just one season, Fee's performance remained clearly visible. With compassionate intelligence and quiet strength, she didn't just play Dr. Kate, she showed that sometimes the most important person is the one who helps others be seen. Catherine Crawford, the Gemini Man, Dr. Abby Lawrence. For a brief moment in television history, she gave the Invisible Man a reason to be seen. Catherine Crawford's Dr. Abby Lawrence brought warmth and intelligence to the Gemini Man as the scientific colleague who knew the hero's transparent secret. Those thoughtful eyes didn't just observe scientific phenomena, they saw the man behind the invisibility. That natural beauty wasn't glamorized. It was the accessible loveliness of a brilliant mind at work. Crawford brought genuine chemistry with Ben Murphy's Sam Casey that went beyond romantic interest into true partnership. As a fellow scientist at Intersect, she wasn't just assisting, she was often saving the day with her own expertise. The Intersect badge she wore wasn't just a prop. It represented a woman earning her place in the male-dominated world of high-tech espionage. When invisibility threatened to consume her colleague, she wasn't just concerned. She was determined to find solutions. Though the series disappeared after just 5 episodes, Crawford made her mark. With natural intelligence and unforced charm, she didn't just play Dr. Abby. She showed that in science fiction, women could be the brilliant minds behind the scenes. Mariette Hartley, the Incredible Hulk, Dr. Caroline Fields. Some television guest stars leave such an impression that one appearance feels like a full series. Mariette Hartley's Dr. Caroline Fields appeared in just a 2-part episode of The Incredible Hulk, yet she remains one of its most memorable characters. Those expressive eyes didn't just connect with David Banner, they connected with America's heart. That radiant smile wasn't just beautiful, it represented hope for the man who thought love was forever beyond his reach. Hartley brought such depth to Caroline that viewers fell in love alongside Banner, making the inevitable tragedy all the more devastating. As a psychologist researching human anger, she wasn't just studying Banner's condition, she was offering him understanding when the world saw only a monster. Her Emmy-winning performance wasn't just impressive, it elevated the entire series. When she witnessed Banner's transformation into the Hulk, she wasn't just terrified, she still saw the man inside the beast. Though her character's story ended in heartbreak, Hartley's impact was lasting. With luminous presence and emotional authenticity, she didn't just play Dr. Fields, she gave the Incredible Hulk its most human moment, proving that sometimes the briefest appearances shine the brightest. Erin Gray, Buck Rogers, Colonel Wilma Deering. She commanded respect in a uniform that launched 1,000 fantasies. Erin Gray's Colonel. Wilma Deering wasn't just beautiful, she was the boss. As the highest-ranking woman in the Earth Defense Directorate, she didn't just keep pace with Buck Rogers, she often outranked him. Those striking blue eyes didn't just connect with viewers, they conveyed authority that needed no explanation. That iconic white spandex uniform wasn't just eye-catching. It represented the streamlined future where women held positions of real power. Gray brought both military bearing and hidden vulnerability to a character navigating the complex dynamics of leadership and attraction. As the 25th century's most capable officer, she wasn't just fighting the forces of evil. She was demonstrating that women could excel in traditionally male roles. When she piloted a starfighter or commanded troops, she wasn't just advancing the plot. She was advancing television's portrayal of women. Those perfectly styled brunette locks weren't just fashionable, They framed a face that showed determination and intelligence. With dignity and strength, Grey didn't just play Colonel Deering. She gave sci-fi television a female character who was never just eye candy, but essential to the mission. Lorette Spang, Battlestar Galactica, Cassiopeia. From socialator to respected medical professional, her journey mirrored humanity's evolution. Lorette Spang's Cassiopeia began as a character defined by others but grew into someone defining herself. Those luminous blue eyes didn't just attract Starbuck, they eventually saw humanity's salvation through the stars. That golden hair wasn't just glamorous. It became a beacon of warmth aboard the cold military vessel. Spang brought vulnerability and determination to a character who transformed from guest star to essential crew member through sheer force of performance. As a former socialator, the show's euphemism for companion, who became a medtech, she wasn't just changing careers, she was demonstrating humanity's adaptability in crisis. When the Galactica faced danger, she wasn't just worried, she was part of the solution. Her complicated relationship with Starbuck wasn't just a romance. It humanized both characters in the midst of cosmic warfare. Though initially introduced as little more than a beautiful distraction, Spang elevated Cassiopeia into someone indispensable. With grace and growing confidence, she didn't just play a character, she embodied the show's central theme of survival and reinvention among the stars. Julie Newmar, Eartha, Kit Lee Merriweather, Batman, Catwoman. 3 women, 1 iconic role. Each brought something unique to the feline fatale, who made viewers question whether they should be rooting for the hero or the villain. Julie Newmar's Catwoman prowled onto screens first, with a purring voice and sinuous movements that seemed more feline than human. Those knowing eyes didn't just watch Batman, they undressed him. That skin-tight black costume wasn't just sexy, it was revolutionary television. When Eartha Kitt took over the role, she brought her distinctive growl and an unmistakable intensity. Her Catwoman didn't just steal jewels, she stole scenes with a primal energy that vibrated through the screen. Lee Merriweather's film version brought elegance and sophistication, with a cool calculation behind every move. These weren't just performances, they were cultural landmarks. As Batman's most complex adversary, Catwoman wasn't just another criminal, she was his dark reflection, his temptation, his equal. When she extended her claws, she wasn't just threatening violence. She was scratching at the barriers between good and evil. These 3 remarkable women didn't just play Catwoman. They created a villain so captivating that generations later, we're still falling under her spell. Sivy Oberg, Batman, Undine, Joker's henchwoman. Some faces appear briefly, yet linger forever in memory. Swedish beauty. Sivy Oberg made just a few appearances as Undine, the Joker's aquatic henchwoman, yet for many young viewers, she was unforgettable. That otherworldly blue-tinted skin didn't just make her stand out. It made her seem like a creature from another dimension. Those ethereal features weren't just beautiful, they were hauntingly exotic. Aberg brought an international mystique to Gotham City, her accent adding another layer of intrigue to the colorful rogues gallery. As the Joker's accomplice with water-based powers, she wasn't just assisting in crimes, she was demonstrating that even Batman's world had room for supernatural elements. When she employed her control over water, she wasn't just fighting Batman, she was expanding the show's creative boundaries. Though less famous than Catwoman or other recurring villains, Undine made waves in viewers' imaginations. Her brief appearances weren't just supporting roles, they were evidence that even small parts could leave lasting impressions. With mysterious allure and exotic presence, Aberg didn't just play Undine, she proved that sometimes the most intriguing characters are the ones we glimpse only briefly, leaving us wanting more. From spinning transformations to bionic strength, from angelic crime fighters to cosmic goddesses, these classic TV superheroes defined an era. Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman didn't just deflect bullets with her bracelets, she shattered barriers for women on television. Lindsay Wagner's Bionic Woman showed us that strength and compassion could exist in perfect harmony. Whether they were answering to a mysterious voice named Charlie or commanding starships through the cosmos, these 1970s female superheroes weren't just characters, they were cultural landmarks. Charlie's Angels proved that glamour and grit could coexist, while lesser-known stars of vintage superhero TV series planted seeds that would grow into today's superhero renaissance. These retro superhero shows might seem quaint by modern standards, but their impact remains immeasurable. These classic TV heroines didn't just entertain us weekly, they showed an entire generation that women could save the day, command respect, and look fabulous doing it. Tell us in the comments, Which of these unforgettable 1970s superheroines brightened your living room and captured your imagination? They weren't just television stars, they were magic.